Om Shanti. So, welcome to the Avyak Murli English Murli Reading Club. And we are churning the Murli of 21st of January 85. So, again, a very beautiful and deep Murli where Baba speaks about, as all of you know, it's the Avyak month. And 3 days after 18 Jan, so Baba is speaking about what is this golden gift which we are getting. Many gifts which we get, but Baba speaks about these two ones, two special ones, the divine intellect and the divine vision, or the divine eye, either of these two. Hindi we call them Divya Buddhi and Divya Drishti. So here Baba very categorically said that today I'll be speaking about the divine intellect, and for some other day, a divine vision. So divine intellect, Divya Buddhi, it's a very deep thing. We sometimes don't understand that in detail. And as he started the Murli, Baba addressed all of us as many beautiful ways. He told us that you are the eyes of the world, the lights of the world. And then he went on to expand how we are the eyes of the world. Actually, here it reminds me of in the Lokik world, in Hindi, we say Aankhon ka tara, which means you are the stars of the eyes. So here Baba is saying eyes of the world, which means it is through us that the world will see. And also lights of the world means it is through us, the Brahmins, that the light, and which light is this? It is not a physical light, it's the light of enlightenment, which Baba said, which will remove all the ignorance of the world. So it is such a beautiful thing if you all want to share something about how we can be eyes of the world in one way, because Baba also goes on to mention, not in this Murli, that how each one of us is basically a mirror, and in that mirror, if someone looks, they can see a reflection of God, Bab Sama. So we should really try to churn today that is my activity, my thoughts, my words, my action, my connections, and my relations. Have I really purified them to such an extent that they look at me, my chehra, chal, chalan, my behavior, my activity, and they get a vision of the divine? So, is that such a powerful stage which I am in? So, if any thoughts on this, you all can share, and then I'll go to the next point.
One is from the eyes that I'm looking outside, even in the world. Um, am I looking with a purity? So, one way of doing that is looking at the specialities of others.
Mm, absolutely, yes. So, this becomes a beautiful point, as you said, mentioned, Rakiben, that yeah, looking at the specialities, because sometimes we have to break it out that what is the meaning of being Baba's light or being the eyes of the world. So one is Gungrahi Drishti, looking at the specialities, and that will help me purify my intellect, and it can become more and more divine. Sometimes we say that, oh, we should look at each other with the soul conscious vision. But what is the soul conscious vision? We don't understand. So this is one beautiful point that let's try to, if we are not able to look at the point, and it's very true that entire day I really can't be thinking, oh, I am a soul, I am a soul, I am a point of light. I mean, that has really no meaning. But the most important thing is, what is it? What is the soul? The soul is full of virtues and powers. So if I'm able to look at my own virtues in the entire day, which doesn't mean I'm becoming egoistic, but I have my swamans, my self esteem, and then the same I look at others in the form of, as you rightly said, Look at the specialities of people and start ignoring what weaknesses they have. So, fantastic point. Yes. Anything else anyone wants to say about the lights of the
I
world? Yeah.
it was a term which just caught me up in the Amrit Vela today. It was sprinkler drishti. It's not just only looking, I'll have to also give. So I was just thinking this word sprinkler drishti, collect from and give. I don't know, I'm still churning on it, but because it was just a morning flash which I got, sprinkler drishti, to become the eyes of the world.
Right. Good. So, sprinkling through your drishti. Right. Good. So then Baba went on to mention about the gift. And always Baba rhymes this, the gift and the lift. That whatever gift I have given you, for example, the divine intellect, that should be able to be a lift. And he beautifully mentioned, I liked it when he went into the details that what happens for some reason, he spoke about a button. I'll come to that button that when so consider this as an example that nowadays lifts are so common. Everyone has everyone lives in big high-rise buildings, and the lift is such an essential part of your life. So if you're in the lift and you want to go to the top, you press the button, but for some reason it's not working. So, or maybe it has started working and then suddenly midway it is stopped, and then you are constantly pressing the button, but it's just not working. So then you are stuck in between. Neither you go up or down, but the chances of going down are more by gravity. So you can really go down with a thud that way. And then Baba says that you wanted to go to your whatever your aim and object was to your floor, 14th floor, 15th floor, but you can't go then. So here Baba says that in the this is about the Lokik world. In the alokik world, what is the one thing which comes and blurs our full thing is about the shadows of Maya. So what is this shadow of Maya? It is all sorts of things which when come, and when we say Maya, it is everything related to the body. So it's not only the weaknesses, but it is the relationships of body which I can be pulled towards. It can be all the padarth which we have, which is all the objects related to the body, which will pull my intellect and get it down from the state of divinity to the low state. And even my sanskars, very important, which are the ones which fully overshadow Baba's canopy which I am in. So here Baba says that if you want to cultivate to have a divine intellect, what is the meaning of divine intellect? To constantly have a divine intellect is to be an embodiment of remembrance. So again, you all can start churning on this now. That how do I be a constant embodiment of remembrance? My embodiment of remembrance here would be Smriti Swarup. So how do I become Smriti Swarup? So I can start churning on that.
Shanti brother, by being in the state of recollection of Baba's Mahavakya, trying to visualize them and able to see the world through those words. That way, probably we can become the embodiment of remembrance.
Yes, absolutely.
Can we say it's also, even though it's a technical word, constant yoga? Like it's not necessary I have to just sit face to face like an Amritwala, but it's a constant remembrance, like a newly wed or the engaged person remembers her beloved at every, this may be a constant world for which of course action plan is traffic control and all. I think maybe that can give me a constant touch with the reality.
Right. True. Okay.
To remember
Anyone
the
else?
self.
Hmm.
Who am I and whom do I belong to, and what am I here for? These awareness will also, give us that information, or will give us that space to think about the self and really make us aware what we are here for.
Right. Beautiful points coming up. And to mix all these, Baba also mentions about Srimat. As Vinod Bhai, I think, also suggested that Baba mentions that if anyone is following my Srimat very accurately, that's the word, it will automatically make me elevated. And everything is about Srimat. And then we see in the entire day the elevated directions. Where am I faltering? What is it which is making me go away from my elevated stage? Because I have done some avagya, I have disobeyed some Srimad. And it could be many, many small, very subtle things actually, which we don't realize. So, more at the thought level rather than at the action level. So, if I can catch the disobedience at the action level, it can help me to rectify myself. And then, if I can do that, then Baba says within a second, I can experience a very constantly powerful, constantly unshakable Master Almighty stage. So Achal Adol Shaktishali Ekras Sthiti. So that's what Baba was saying. Then Baba says that all of you labor a lot because under the influence of Maya, what do we do? It reminds me, I just heard a class from Santosh Didi's, Santosh Didi, our additional administrative head, the zone in charge of Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So she basically spoke about the sense organs. It was a beautiful way she used this word in Hindi that apni dukaan band karo. I was wondering why she's saying this dukaan band karo. Any idea? Has anyone got any idea what am I trying to say? Which dukaan is this? If you have heard this class, you can know it immediately. So we feel that whatever we look at through the eyes, that's correct. Obviously, these are the three main sense organs: the eyes, the ears, and the mouth. Because through the eyes we see so many things, and therefore Baba says, "Dekhte hue nahi dekhna." Because if I want to be Smriti Swarup, Smriti means my awareness and my remembrance. The most important thing is whatever I look at, I get connected to that immediately. So obviously, I can't keep my eyes closed. I have to keep working with my eyes open. But therefore, Baba says, look through the eyes, but still don't look. देखते हुए नहीं देखना. To see, but still you are not seeing. So I need to really take care of this sense organ of the eyes. But eyes, they are just so involuntary. The moment you open your eyes, you just see everything outside. But Santosh Didi mentioned about the Khan, which means do Khan. All of us have 2 ears. So she said, Dukan band karo. So this is do Khan, Dukan. So it was beautiful expression. I liked it. Very simple, but yet very powerful and effective. That the second sense organ is the ears. So if through the ears, again, I can't actually close my ears. Obviously, nowadays you can with putting in earbuds and all sorts of things you can do to get fully lost from the so that you don't hear anything from the outside world. Otherwise, technically, there is no shutter. There is no such covering which covers the ears. So, dukan band karna means again, sunte hue nahi sunna. Hear it, but don't listen it or listen to it. And I'm sure you know what is the difference between the two. Anyone can tell me what is the difference between hearing and listening?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
Vijay.
listening.
see now
Right.
I'm listening to Manoj Bhai. There are so many other sounds outside. I don't
Yeah.
hear it. So
Okay.
listening it is with the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Another word, listening is when we are paying attention, right? Then we are
Yeah.
listening. When we are not paying attention, then we are hearing. So we are hearing so many things, but when we pay attention, only then we are hearing, listening.
Yeah. So both of you are coming very close to this. That yes, there are so many sounds in the atmosphere right now. As I'm speaking, I can hear some birds outside. I'm not saying I can listen to the birds. I can hear because obviously I can hear something because something is being picked up through my sense organ of the ear. But when it is through the mind or when it is with full understanding, and therefore we were conducting a Vihasa values in healthcare workshop which we do. It was in Borivali, I remember. So one of the brothers there, we use these spiritual tools, 7 spiritual tools, and I was asking them again the same, the brother hearing and listening. So he was speaking in Hindi. He said, "Can I say in Hindi?" I said, "Yeah, why not? Sure, go ahead." So he said, "Hearing matlab kaan se sunna." So I immediately interrupted, which was not right on my part. I said, "हाँ, हम सब कान से ही तो सुनते हैं." He said, "आप मुझे खत्म तो करने दो, आप ही बोलते जा रहे हो." I said, "I'm so sorry, you finish your sentence first." So then he said, hearing matlab कान से सुनना and listening matlab ध्यान से सुनना. So he rhymed it out very well. And yes, so the sense, so listening actually is at a very deeper level, and therefore we have many of these words called active listening, passive listening. It's with all the other sense organs. So it is not only through your mind, but also your intellect is involved. Your sanskar also is involved in listening. It's full of understanding which you're listening. So it's a multifaceted hearing is listening in one way. So, and therefore we say listening is a very important spiritual tool. And therefore we say that we listen to Baba's Murli. We don't hear the Murli, we listen to it. Because we not only uh, understand, but we absorb it fully. हम समा लेते हैं. And then we sort of try to, as Dadi Janki, it reminds me, she used to say, बाबा आप कितने मीठे हो मैं आपको खा जाऊं आपकी मुरली को भी खा जाऊं which means she used to say that each and every word which Baba says in the murli I really absorb it to such an extent that I become an embodiment of that murli, and therefore Baba here always says that don't become knowledgeable souls but become an embodiment of knowledge, which means gyan swarup, the points of knowledge are just so much in your life that I mean, your life is just about an embodiment of knowledge. You're just living the life, living that knowledge in your life. So here it is. So that was the difference, beautiful discussion between listening and hearing. So this was the second sense organ which Santosh Didi said, Dukan band karo. Therefore, we will hear. Obviously, we can't put any patches on the ears, but let it not seep in inside so it doesn't affect my stage. Right. And then Baba says that Maya is very clever, very, very clever. But I don't know whether it was this Murli or some other Murli. Yeah, I think it was some other Murli which I was reading. Baba mentioned that Maya is actually in an unconscious state now. Maya murchit ho gayi hai. She is actually taking the last breaths of her existence because she's knowing that this Kali Yuga for us has fully gone for Brahmin children, but she's trying to exert her effects in multitude of ways. She's trying to take over us. But what happens in this Murli Baba mentions that she's very clever and she makes you feel innocent in the sense when we do some vikaram, something untoward has happened, then how do we, how Maya makes us feel innocent is we try to prove our point to seniors. Let's see, it was because of this happened. Had this person not been there, or had the situation been in a different way, I would not have committed. So we try to justify our point, we try to prove our point, and that is a very bad thing which we do, and that makes so we try to prove ourselves as being innocent and we try to put the blame on someone. and here it is Maya becoming clever. So Baba went on to say that Bholenath, Bholenath is Baba's title, the Lord of the Innocent. Don't be so innocent that Maya is taking undue advantage of you and taking you in a wrong direction. So Baba says, I'm reading this here, to become innocent of Maya means to become one who forgets. That's another way Baba has put it, that innocent means you become forgetful. भूल जाते हैं वो चीजें. एंड हिंदी में इसलिए बहुत अच्छा कहते हैं, भूल जाते हैं एंड भूलें भी करते हैं, both. So we forget and we also make mistakes. So now to rectify this, what we should do, Baba says, I think not in this murli, some other murli, innocent के बजाय saint बनो. Saint, and make cent% purusharth, which means let your effort be 100%, whereby you are 100% victorious over Maya, and be like a saint. Saint means, you can tell me different meanings of that. What I can think here is a saint is not influenced by anything else. It is not influenced by Maya. It's not influenced by any Vyakti Vastu Vaibhav, which means any person, any situation, or any name, fame, all this is, we are immune to all that. So that's a saint. So if you all want to elucidate more on this, and then we'll go on to the canopy. So we want to speak about Maya and its influences.
Saint also sounds like CENT, that's become 100%. Can that
Yeah.
also be an interpretation, brother? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Baba says that, yeah. And
Yeah.
also, if I want to, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, brother. That means to say, leave behind and try towards becoming perfect. And my teacher used to say, aim at the stars, you'll reach at least the sky. So
Mm.
that means aim highest, but and somehow you will reach to somehow a greater achievement. So that is what is sense standing for me.
But Manoj bhai, if I can add, what I
Mm-hmm.
understood about saint, is what I found it out in Christianity, how the person is consecrated as a saint. So the kind, virtuous, and patient, constantly linked to the Lord. Like, absolutely, the question of why is nothing is there. That consecration of a saint. I was just thinking about that, which I have read it in Christianity.
Yeah, fine. And I was wanting to add one more to Vinod Bhai's CENT, then if I add S to that, so scent. Scent means perfume. So again, if I
Saint
am,
also means holy, right?
yeah,
Holy and pure.
sorry, say it again.
Saint, we can also say that it's holy and pure. It's
Mm,
another meaning.
correct. Yeah, so see, there are so many different meanings you all came out with.
And a
Yeah.
small A to that S makes you fly high, go
Ascent,
climb.
yeah. Yeah, we could keep playing around with this word. Yes, very good. So ascent, scent, CENT, scent. And then you can say ENT also. Anyway, so yeah, so I would just read the chat box. I'm missing out on that. So who's BB? Okay, Bijit, yeah. So Smriti of I am an actor. Sorry, I missed those points. So Bijit Bhai mentioned of that in the Smriti Swarup. Yeah, that is also a good remembrance point or a point of awareness that I'm an actor on this stage. Yes. Girija Ben said listening with the mind, and that's actually active listening, which means you listen and you and then further actually you're mentioned. Vinod Bhai has mentioned that you churn when you're listening, yeah, because it's an active process. You're not passively just absorbing things. And he's mentioned four other things, again, four beautiful tools, I must say: understand, analyze, visualize, and recall. Right. And Radhamani Behan is saying, I was wondering, Radhamani and the other group is all silent. So good. Finally, I'll have mentioned something. So she's speaking about the gift of a divine, godly intellect is a constant canopy of protection. Yeah. whereas Maya casts her own shadow. The canopy flies away and just the shadow is left. Yeah, this was coming to the next, but since you have started, so you can share on this if you want to. I'll just take Brother Om's sharing of Saint. Sant Shant hona hi sant hona hai. Yeah, right. So Santa and Shant, both these are very similar words. So someone who is silent, peaceful. So Radhamani Ben, you want to share about how Maya casts her own shadow? Any experiences or any thoughts? Okay, right. No problem. So if someone else wants to share about this point, that how the canopy flies away and the shadow is left or influence. I'm sure all of have had our own spells of Maya coming on us, and totally then we forget Baba that time.
I guess, brother.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vinod, right.
yeah, I think when we are, completely connected with a role, that's when Maya take over. And a role in the sense,
Mm-hmm.
that the things that we are doing in the worldly, matter, whatever is related. So, my job or anything related to role or anything that I'm dealing with the family or anything. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when I'm lost with that in that awareness, then I'm attacked by my. But when I realize that I am this role, right, then I feel like connecting Baba. Subconscious comes. It's a slight difference. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So when you're in the role consciousness, it's basically the entire body consciousness, big jargon opened up. And then, yes, Maya is waiting there. It's not only the small gate which I have opened, the entire door is open for her when I am in that consciousness. Correct. Yeah.
I visualize it like this, Manoj Bhai. Like, see,
Mhm.
I'm going in the rain with my mother. She's holding a umbrella over me, but the rain attracts me. I come out of the umbrella and I enjoy the rain. Like that, when Baba is trying to protect me from up, I've seen that ad. He's trying to put that umbrella over me, but I miss that umbrella. I'd like to go. That attraction, something else. So the umbrella is lost. So my attraction, so when I'm out in the rain, Maya catches me.
Mm.
So I visualize it like that. When something else attracts me, other than the warm thing of my mother and the umbrella, a kind of visualization like that. And my gift is lost, my canopy is lost.
Yeah, correct. And
And you know,
Vinod Bhai, yeah.
yeah, these days with the smart devices coming, you can chat with one person or you can look at videos. That way, you lose the connection with the real world. At least when you're talking to somebody in real time, you are connected to the winds, to the weather, somewhere. But here you're cornered. You are connecting one to one, and it's easy to lose your own consciousness to your own self. So that's when you to the other person without knowing that you have lost your own self. That means the smriti and then higher connection to Supreme.
Right. Good. So, as I was speaking about the lift, so now let's come to another point that Baba said. I was telling you about the switch. There are many switches when we do the Rajyoga meditation course. We tell people that you try to explain them that meditation is like a charging process, and the three troubleshooting steps are that you have inserted your wire in the slot, and then you have connected the charger also to the switch box. Still it is not charging. So what are the steps? So we start with that the loose connection. So nowadays loose connection is out of question because all the mobiles are well equipped with that magnetic thing. There's a magnetic pull. Then second thing is we say everything is fine, it's still not charging. So what is the switch which is not on, we say the switch of soul consciousness. And the third thing is that switch is also on, but it's still not charging because probably there is light is not there, which means the power, the connection with the powerhouse has been lost. Means temporarily there's outage, power outage, something like that. So here it reminds me that the switch, which Baba said here, anyone wants to write in the chat box, that the
Elevated
divine,
thoughts.
yeah, perfect. So it's a beautiful thing which we can really churn on this more, that my divine intellect, I am in the lift, and my intellect is also very divine. But there is a switch which I need to put on. Otherwise, I won't be able to use the gift of the lift. And that is very beautifully said. And as Girija Bhen reminded us, yes, it is elevated thought, Sresh Sankalp. So we need to really see, yeah. So many other, Radhamani Ben has said, then Bijit Bhai is saying, he started looking at various swamans or self-respect points. So he's mentioned the first, I am a master, almighty authority. So what are these elevated thoughts? Because at one point of time inside my conscious mind, there can be one thing. It can be either an elevated thought or what we say opposite of Shreshth is brushed. It can be a corrupt thought. So I need to really see what are these corrupt thoughts. And obviously, if I look at it as a broader aspect, all the things which are related to body consciousness and as Bijit Bhai mentioned, role consciousness are all these are corrupt thoughts. So the moment I'm going becoming role conscious, that say for example I am a doctor, the moment I make this thought, it is a corrupt thought. I am not a doctor. I am a soul playing the role of a doctor. So while I'm seeing patients, that's the way I can at least keep myself protected under this canopy that yes, I am a soul playing the role of a doctor. Then all the other consciousness of ego, uh, maybe superiority complex, all that will immediately switch off. So this switch on has to be done, and I have to keep practicing that. And I'll just take this second point and then you'll elaborate more on that. It's a beautiful word. Baba says, I'll read it in Baba's Murli, what he said, that the gift of the divine intellect in one way is an alaukic flying vehicle. Beautiful. Alaukic flying vehicle. And by switching on this divine flying vehicle, you can reach wherever you want in a second. This switch is not only your thoughts, but your elevated thoughts. So let's look at this alaukic flying vehicle. If you all want to speak a bit more about that. Yeah, so I'll take Bijit's Bhai's first. He's mentioned it nicely. It's a good fuel for intellect. Yeah, so you have started going in the jargon of driving. Yes, so vehicle driving, and we need a fuel. So it's a good fuel for the intellect. What else?
On the ground, it will show that everything that's happening is Kalyankari. Everything is for benevolence. So,
On the ground.
yeah, on the ground. So, when we say one way to look at the fuel that's there on the mind is there are no questions that may come, and whatever is happening, there
Mm.
is a space of stability uh,
Mm.
in either soul, and everything that shows up is having a reason and it's benevolent.
Yeah, so having this point, a full stop to the racing mind that whatever is happening, it's Kalyankari, benevolent, and let me put a full stop to my racing, waste, corrupt thoughts. Yeah, good.
Manoj bhai, I would like to compare it to an aeroplane, a real
Mhm.
aeroplane, from the way it checking the double refined fuel, the runway, and everything perfect. Or what would happen if not there even before takeoff it crashes? I don't know. Of late, I'm comparing the flying Viman Alokik to a Lokik flying of a aeroplane. I try to compare it with that. So here, of course, elevated thought means not even a little mistake of catching a throttle, pulling down the fuel, all that, it cannot be there. Then only the intellect will fly after a takeoff. It can never come down. I tend to compare it with a Viman.
Yeah.
Brother,
So,
I would like to say it to be ekrasthiti, a stage of being atindriya sukhi, like yesterday's Murli, wherein you are constantly having a melody of being in a best feeling or best attitude in self. So that's like continuity and constant.
right, continuous and constant, ekras and sada. Right. Okay, so moving on to, yeah, so Girija Bain is the saying focus, focus, and Manmanabha, and Radhamani Bain said refined food. Yeah. So here Baba mentions about, I like this word, that Baba says this is the double refined facility of Bap Dada. Now, what facilities you churn on this? What facility we have? And then Baba goes on to mention. So look at, if you remember the latest Air India crash, I think it was 6th or 8th June, 1.5 month, quarter to 2 months ago, the flight from Ahmedabad to London. So there were many speculations that why this happened, this, that. So one of the hypotheses is that was the fuel not refined enough? Was there some milawat or some mixturity? So same thing here, as all of us are trying to say that we are going in the intellect, the divine intellect is actually like an aeroplane. It is trying to really fly high, and I have switched on the switch of elevated thought. So I'm flying, but still I'm not able to get up. I take a flight, but then I immediately come back, as this Air India plane happened. Within 39, 40 seconds, I'm back down. So, and obviously, it's not like a physical crash, but obviously, we also do crash inside. And Baba says, what would happen if there is this slightest rubbish? My God, he's using the word rubbish of the influence of your own dictates or the dictates of others. So here it is, which we say par. तो हमारे पर विमान में, when we say flight par याद आते हैं ना, par means our wings. So here Baba says about those three pars. I'm sure all of you know very well. Par chintan, par darshan, and par mat. So par chintan is following the dictates of others. Pardarshan is to look at others, and Parmat was following dictates. Parchintan is churning about others, constantly thinking about what he is doing, what he should be doing, he shouldn't be doing, so on. And all these. So Baba says, cut all these three now. And what is the only one thing par which you should do? Yes, anyone in one voice? What par we should be doing or following? Paropkar. Yeah. Who was that? Bijit Bhai, right? Okay. Yeah. So beautiful way to connect every. There are so many murlis and so many points which we have. I think time is getting up. It's 5:38. So here I'll complete with the last thing, which in other murlis in Hindi Baba says, and Raju Bhai he really tries to touch upon this point quite a bit. That is Antar Man Vahan. So I'll repeat Antar Man Vahan. So Vahan is vehicle, mind, man is man, and antar. So my when we say an antar man vahan and antar man vahak, and here it comes another word called antavahak sthiti. Antar means again it is the last, and vahak is I, my elevated mind, elevated thoughts take me up, and that sthiti is my end stage, and that end stage will help me in the end when I am leaving this body, or in whatever way I'm leaving it. We don't know how we leave our body. What is the last thought which comes to my attention that time? And that's the reason we say Antmati so Gati. So, whatever last thought, elevated thought of remembrance of Baba, whatever it comes to, it helps me to uh, get into my stage accordingly. And then in that stage, when I leave the body, it becomes a Gati for me, Gati and Sadgati. All of you know these words, that going home with the remembrance. And today being 27th of July, tomorrow is 28th of July. Our dear Didi Manmohini, her slogan was Ab Ghar Jana Hai. We all need to now return back home. And all these, whatever these preparations we are doing, churning of Murlis, this, that is all to make our stage elevated so that we have a good stock of elevated thoughts. We can apply a full stop and make sure our preparation for going home and leaving this body, the last breath, is all about Baba, 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 and my sweet home and nothing else. Okay, if you all have any other thoughts, you can share. Otherwise, Om Shanti, and we'll go in silence.
Manoj Bhai, I had a question. When
Mhm.
this Murli was taken up earlier, I think it was Vinod Bhai, he shared a very beautiful example. Like, when when Baba spoke about the eye and we went to the anatomy of the eye, and he spoke about, what is the role of the eyelashes, what is the role of the pupil, and how it protects, how the pupil protects. And I was just asking, Baba very easily says, as you gave example of Santosh Didi, that ek kaan se suno or dusre kaan se chodo. So I was just telling him, see, the eye, we have got anatomy, something over there to protect the eye. But is there anything of the ears? He gave us, he's a doctor, so he gave us some nice thing, something, of course, it was too scientific a thing for me to understand. But he said, in our body, there is very good, even a protective shield or a protective system to see that that organ works perfectly, like in the eye. So I accepted that, okay, it's not necessary. Ek can't say suno, dusre can't say nahi, but if you focus on whatever you're listening, the other things will not enter. He shared a very good anatomy example. That's why I could take in even that. You gave us also the do dukan, but you didn't give us what was the third thing which Didi explained. You gave us only these two. Can you just say what was the third one Santosh Didi shared?
Okay, I don't think she shared about the other thing. There was one more thing which I heard it. I'm not able to remember. I'll let you all know if I remember. But there's three sense organs:
Mouth,
the
no?
eyes, the
Face.
ears, and the mouth. Excuse me. And the mouth, there's no such word. She said mukh ke liye, nothing. But obviously, Baba says in the Murlis that, in the Sakar Murlis, that mukh mein mulera dal do, which means just try to shut your mouth, which means put something in the mouth, and so that you don't speak, and that is nothing about physical. But Baba mentions in the physical way, he gives an example. But here we need to understand that, I need to be silent. And nowadays we are in this world of gadgets. Again and again we go on to gadgets, mobile phones, so we look at them, we hear to them, and constantly we speak through them. So we have to make sure that all these three sense organs, in some way or the other, are controlled. And yeah, I didn't know brother Vinod was also a doctor. Is it? Is he an ophthalmic surgeon? You can tell us, brother, if you're around still. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not an ophthalmologist, brother. Sorry.
So what are you? I mean, profession-wise?
Yeah, I'm aerospace medicine specialist. Yeah.
Aerospace. Oh, that's interesting. So we are speaking about aerospace medicine. Oh, okay. And we are speaking about flights today. Right. So that way. So nothing else. There was just this Dukan thing which we shared. And then for the Dukan, she mentioned that whenever there is any chaos in the world outside, she gave this corollary that uh, there are dange fasad. There is, what do you want to say the word in English? Um, whatever, the
Chaos.
upheaval, chaos, yeah, all those words.
That
So people have, yeah, so people have these religious strifes, religious battles, Hindu, Muslim, blah, blah, and anything in India or any other part of the world nowadays, at the drop of a hat, people just want to create chaos. So that time, the first thing which the people do is they close their shutters of the shops, right? And that's what, because they want to see, because people will start stone pelting and they will try to destroy their whatever valuable things they have in the shop. So the shutters go down and the shops are closed the first thing. And in the same thing happens in a curfew, we know that. So taking this corollary, she didn't explain in detail, but I feel that same thing which we have to do is whenever there is chaos, outside we'll be seeing a lot things are happening, but let's try to close our dukan. So these dukan which are there, let's try to put a shutter there. Obviously there is no physical shutter, but obviously it is filtering it out, that am I, whatever I'm hearing, let me not listen to it, so that this upheaval doesn't go inside. And as you were trying to speak about ek kaan se sunna, many people say that it doesn't happen like that, all of us know, because it's a bilateral apparatus. Bilateral means we listen through two, both the ears. It can't be selective that you listen through one and get it out of the other. No. And to explain it at a deeper level is whatever we goes inside through the ears is processed to the brain immediately in a second. And we can't prevent this processing. So again, we have our ways and means of doing it through Murli points. We each one has to do it for ourselves, but we make sure that okay, something has gone in, something I heard from others, but let me not process it to the extent and let me not pollute my feelings towards that person or towards that incident, so that the processing in the brain of those heard words doesn't happen, because it will disturb me from inside, my apparatus inside. Yeah, so Om Bhai is saying a detached observer stage. That is in one way being a detached observer. Right. Okay, so I
Manoj
think,
bhai, it's meditation
yeah,
time. Can you
yeah.
please take us to the high? Baba has mentioned here, if you want a good flight, go to the
Hmm.
stage of your highest peak. Take us nicely to a stage of highest peak. So
So
that
you
is
want,
high in the clouds,
so you want a commentary in one way.
if you can.
Yeah,
Because
sure, I
that
don't mind.
sentence I'm trying to churn, Manoj bhai, I couldn't. Stabilize yourself in the stage of the highest peak. I thought it was seed stage, but there I just found bliss. I couldn't fly in the clouds. So I just
Mm,
want a kind of experience, what mentioned in the Murli.
okay, sure. And I'll just take this last sharing, which Vinod Bhai has mentioned about active noise cancellation. Yes, it's a very techie term. And in the Zoom, like this noise cancellation is there. There may be many extraneous noises in the background, but Zoom cancels that. So how do we do that for ourselves? He said he's trying to resound Girija Bhen by saying, give us a commentary or a music, meditation music, which I'm just switching on, and Murli points as well. Yeah, so beautiful churning. And thank you all of you all for your churnings. And let me just share some soft music for you all. And as we sit back, relax, and try to take yourself in this stage of being a conscient energy. The tiny point of light that you are. And as I focus on this conscient energy that I am, my mind comes to a standstill. focusing on this one beautiful thought, that I am the chosen one, and the gift of this divine intellect has been given to me. Let me look at my journey so far. Since I have realized that I am this beautiful soul energy, tiny point of divine consciousness, how my life has changed. My thoughts have become more and more pure, subtle. My intellect now knows what is right for me, and it's becoming more and more subtle, Pradhan. And now I can also see my sanskar, my old personality traits and weaknesses. They replace all of those with those new deity traits. And as I look at myself so deeply, I now choose to only create elevated thoughts, only listen to things which elevate me, only use those elevated sanskars which uplift my own self and others as well. It's a conscious decision with constant attention which I keep on myself. Thank you, all of you.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Manoj Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a blissful day.